2025. If we could stand for the call for the invocation of the pledge.
Lord gracious God, we ask for your blessing upon all gathered here today in our Salem County community. We are grateful for your guidance in making the decisions presented before us. Please hear the special intentions each of us hold in our hearts. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Seated.
Adequate notice pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given of this meeting by forwarding notice to the South Jersey Times and Elmer Times Company, and by posting notice in the Fifth Street Office Complex, and by filing notice in the offices of the Salem County Clerk and the Clerk of the Board, all having been done at least 48 hours in advance.
Attendance roll call, please.
Director Lund.
Here.
Deputy Director Oster.
Here.
Commissioner Ransom.
Here.
Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
Commissioner Timmerman.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. We have Commissioner, what's your pleasure with the minutes?
Mr. Director, I'd like to make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes from the July 9th, 2025 regular meeting. Those minutes are to be received, approved, and recorded in the minute book.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Director.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. We have a special recognition tonight. I'd like to for tonight. I'd like Commissioner Corey Taylor to be the presentation.
And today I'm going to come up after that I want to honor and acknowledge this more. Good afternoon. We are celebrating today. She is the New Jersey Council of County Colleges. So they honor her as New Jersey Student of the Year. We first did it at college as well. This award is presented to the community colleges in recognition of academic excellence, character, inspiration, success, and service to the community. They have re-entered SCC through the Educational Opportunity Fund Celebrate Program. Her journey has been marked by extraordinary perseverance. As a single mother and a student with physical challenges, she balanced her full academic workload with her many responsibilities, never allowing her obstacles to define. Instead, she met every challenge head on with dirt, ambition, positive spirit, and inspires everyone. Exemplifies the very qualities this award seeks to honor: commitment to service, school spirit, and perseverance in the face of adversity. She is this year's recipient of Dr. Peter T. College Service Achievement Award and a member of the Salem Community College class of 2025. On behalf of the New Jersey Council of County Colleges, I'm pleased to present this New Jersey Student of the Year Award to the and she spoke better than I did. She spoke eloquently. I remember my quote. She did a great job. Very nice talk. So here's pictures.
Moving on, we have a presentation tonight this afternoon with the New Army Corps of Engineers. If you want to step up and begin your presentation, that'd be great.
I probably bumped that. I'm sorry.
All right. Hi, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming out to listen to us today and giving us time to present.
I'd like to thank the commissioners for giving us time on your meeting agenda today, as well as the public and others that are here that are interested in hearing about the work that we do in this community. So we are here to talk about the work that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers does under the FUSRAP program, formerly utilized sites remedial action program at the DuPont Chambers work site. So I'll just do a couple of introductions. My name is Lindsay Keller. I'm the project manager for this work for the Army Corps. Along with me, I have Dan Circus. He's a geologist and technical manager for the project. I have Ed Boat, who's a public affairs officer with the Philadelphia district. And we also have Brian Bettler representing Comores if there are any questions about where our projects overlap. So I will give a brief presentation, including some of the site history, why we're here, any updates that we have. So we were last year in 2023, gave a similar presentation. So some of this will be similar to what you've heard before, but we do have some new information to share with you all. And then we'll take any questions or comments at the end. I'll try to keep the presentation brief to about 10 minutes so that we can focus on any questions or concerns that you have. So we're here because of the Manhattan Project. This work was in support of the nation's early atomic weapons program, which was led by the Army Corps General Leslie Groves. Manhattan Project work was active at DuPont between 1942 and 1947. There are over 40 locations throughout the country that provided support, and this ranges from federal and private facilities for a variety of operations that supported the project. Excuse me.
No, that's not what I was talking about. You can't hear her in here, Mariel.
Yeah,
So she needs to come with both.
Yeah, step
No,
up to this.
You can grab it. It's portable. You can put it wherever you want.
So FUSRAP, it's a formerly utilized sites remedial action program. The FUSRAP program was initiated in 1974 to address Manhattan Project contamination. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers was congressionally authorized under FUSRAP to clean up Manhattan Project contamination starting in 1998. Upon completion, the Army Corps will return areas to the respective landowners. So in this case, will be Comores. And then we will transfer the project back to the Department of Energy, who it originally resided with for long-term management. And the thing that I really want to stress is that the objective of FUSRAP is to ensure that formerly used Manhattan Project sites are made safe and can be reused, specifically safe to the public. Okay, so a bit of project background. As I mentioned earlier, the work began in 1942. That's when DuPont begins to support the Manhattan Project. Between 1942 and 1947, DuPont was under contract with the Army Corps of Engineers to process things like uranium. And the main thing here is that in 1949, the Army Corps and the AEC, the Atomic Energy Commission, which was the predecessor to DOE, they assessed the radioactive contamination at the site, ultimately declared clean for unrestricted use. That was based on the technology that we had at that time. And then DuPont, as a result, begins to use contaminated soil and building material as fill across the site. Right. And as I mentioned previously, in 1998, USACE begins FUSRAP cleanup at DuPont. Some more recent project history. So in 2011, the remedial investigation was complete. We published an RIR, remedial investigation report, and that is available to the public And that also included a baseline risk assessment at that time. In 2013, we issued a record of decision, or a ROD. The ROD is a legal document that identifies the final decision for the remedial action selected for a site. In this document, we identified the selected remedial action as excavation and offsite disposal of contaminated material. In 2014, we began remediation, which is currently ongoing. And the update here is that in 2024, we issued what's called an ESD, Explanation of Significant Differences. This is really an amendment or an addition to the ROD, and it explains what has changed. And what has changed is that we have found additional contamination, specifically within a new area of concern. So the site is divided among areas of concern, or AOCs. The ROD identified AOCs 1, 2, and 6 for remediation. The ESD includes AOC 4. That was not originally included in the ROD. The AOC designations themselves don't mean anything. It's really a way for us to divide up different areas or geographic or geological differences. But the main point being is that we evaluated 6 AOCs under the RI, and AOC 4 was not considered at that time to be contaminated. And based on additional information, use of aerial photography, and historic information, we found that there could potentially be contamination in AOC 4, so we went and investigated it, and we did identify FUSRAP eligible contamination. That has added a significant amount of work to the FUSRAP work that we're doing at DuPont. So what specifically are we remediating at DuPont? So Congress has authorized remediation for uranium and its daughter products in soil at DuPont. I want to stress too that most of the radioactively contaminated soils at Chambers Works also have chemical contamination. That's a result of historic operations with DuPont and Chemours. So this mixed waste can be remediated under FUSRAP. We cannot remediate only chemically contaminated waste. It has to have FUSRAP or radiological elements to be remediated under the FUSRAP program. We do generate contaminated water from excavation activities. That is being treated on site in our construction water treatment plant. We also do have very limited uranium concentrations identified in groundwater on site. Uranium is not mobile in groundwater, so it is not migrating off site. We have no evidence that it is anywhere but localized to our contamination areas. So as I mentioned, our remediation activities involve excavation and off-site transportation and disposal to certified landfills. As of this year, we have completed excavation and disposal of over 93,000 cubic yards of material. For reference, we originally estimated about 25,000 cubic yards of contaminated material, so we're well over 3 times our original estimate. We have about 54,000 cubic yards remaining, and we are still investigating, and that number could increase, but that is the information that we have at this time. Okay, so current project status, how long will we be here? Like I mentioned before, so the 3 areas of concern that are complete are AOCs 1, 2, and 6 that were included in the original ROD. We have 1 AOC, which is AOC 4, in active remediation. As an updated timeline, we are estimating active soil excavation until 2032. That's when we would consider the project physically complete for soil remediation. This is also when our remedial action contractor would mobilize offsite. The Corps would remain doing some groundwater monitoring, more administrative items such as data management, and ultimately we would transfer the site back to DOE in 2038. I want to note that the timeline was extended primarily due to that additional contamination identified in AOC 4, although we did have additional waste in AOCs 1, 2, and 6. We estimate when we start, this contamination is pretty hard to find. It's randomly distributed. It's hard to delineate. So those areas have grown as we've remediated them, but we do make sure to get all of that material. Okay, so where can you find information? We have a few ways for the public to access information, project information. We keep our administrative record at the Pennsville Public Library. We also have Philadelphia District has a website that we have the same information and some additional information as well. And you can also contact our public affairs officer, Steve Rochette, and his email is up here. And it's also in the handouts that we had as you all came in. We may have a few more on the table.
This is a building, just briefly, what somebody wants to touch on. I've had both members, but one of the two public affairs officers also government affairs, so I'm working on the projects that we have with local government in this county. Nothing new with this guy. I just want to mention this man. Just for the last couple of years, but most of our projects, over the last few decades, have been, things that we have these projects, engineering development, always dredging, shipping channels, dams, etc. But we have a new type of project that we're practicing a lot of us work on, which it's not really our projects, it's where we can assist municipalities with basically what are these projects that are already not something where the local government is saying we have a problem here and all this thing I have to do, but even more when it's already tangible projects have to do with either wastewater treatment, water supply, groundwater management, traditional water utilities that every township borough, city has to deal with. So there's this purple shaded area, one of the main things that we do in our district is within basically this is the Delaware watershed program. It's also all the stuff, where you have already defined projects that say in one of those areas where improvement, repairs, replacement water might be related to water, drinking water, wastewater, and all of that. We can, relatively simple request from the Department assisting on that design construction as a second process. We have the authority as a response to that local government, and then it still requires money with everything done. But these things kind of trouble and kind of like about 30 years. They are federal law that will run pretty short. I know that it's a long time still, but it's something we want to be aware of. And that's my information. And just Steve and I are interchangeable, so the only really one doesn't get the other.
Okay, so that concludes what we have for our presentation today. Any questions from the commissioners or open it up to the public?
Yes, we can open that to the public if the public has any questions. Could you step forward and up to the microphone, please state your name and location?
Melissa Thompson, Pennsville Township Committee. Are you going to be doing groundwater testing around the area of the core site, and how many miles out are you going? You were talking about the contamination is hard to find and randomly distributed. So groundwater is always moving far, and has, it's downstream and whatnot. And we are working at completely updated, with the help of a, outside company that works with DuPont also, to, completely eliminate the field of waste. And we're now working on the second one with them, and we have the third one, which fortunately now doesn't show in the field of waste. You're talking about understanding now. So things that come from there. So how do we have confidence in the groundwater around the facility?
Yes, thank you for your question.
So food drop is only responsible for radiological contamination. Congress has only authorized us to clean up uranium and its daughter products, thorium and radium. We have no evidence to believe that our materials have left the site other than specifically waste that we have shipped off-site that has been managed very carefully. I'll let Dan Serkis elaborate a little bit on the studies that we have done in groundwater and why we believe that that has not migrated off-site.
Okay, the first thing I want you to understand is uranium is very finicky. It's fussy. It's not like if you poured a cup of Coke or oil onto the ground and it would just move out. Uranium has to have a certain environment necessary for it to be moving in groundwater. It normally doesn't want to move at all, and that's not just in theory. We've seen it on the site. Around our source areas, we found uranium in groundwater can move a couple 100 feet, maybe 100 yards. That's it. It doesn't sink. It doesn't take off. It's not like other organic chemicals that can do that sort of thing. And when we said randomly distributed, what we mean by that is that I have studied this very, very carefully, and so has people that came before me. DuPont used our buildings when they demolished them as fill in specific areas. Now, within those areas, a guy might have had a truckload one day of our stuff and a truckload the next day of somebody else's stuff. So it's random within areas of certain areas that we know where the waste was deposited. But as you say, we need to be really careful to know whether our stuff is anyplace else. This is a big site, 600 acres. So we have sampled over 125 of Chemours' wells, not to find exceedances of uranium, to find any uranium. The background of uranium in groundwater can be a couple of parts per billion. And if we saw anything more than that, we would be suspicious. So we looked at 125 of their wells all over the site. And we found 2 that had our stuff in it in places that we weren't sure why it would be there. They seem to be related to our site, but we're doing everything that we can to make sure that we've accounted for all of the waste that was removed from our buildings and where it went. I have over about 29 different years of aerial photos that I've studied for years to figure out, what happened, because it happened a long time ago. Not nobody remembers what happened in the 40s and the 50s anymore. So we've done that. We've actually innovated ways to look for radiation beneath the ground, not contaminated groundwater, but the actual waste that was dumped. And I just want to make this one thing clear, that we're doing this because we made an agreement with DuPont. We're fulfilling our obligation that we signed so many years ago, 80 years ago. We're not bailing out DuPont or Chemours. This is our responsibility, and we're trying to live up to it. Every country that has nuclear weapons has done the exact same thing that we've done. Places in Russia, there are sites just like this in Russia. The difference is that they just cover them up with a little bit of soil. The United States government is fulfilling its obligation to the people, and the people of Pennsville and Salem County by removing what we said we would do, cleaning up the site, making it safe for reuse. Any other questions? Sure.
Carnage Point Township Committee made mention that you were utilizing the current wastewater plant. That plant is no longer licensed. Yours gave the license up, I believe, over 2 years ago. So how are you disposing of water at a plant that's closed or no longer licensed?
Thank you for the question. The government has our own on-site treatment plant, so we have established our own facility to treat our specific wastewater, and we do have a permit that we need to comply with, and we do send that information to the DEP monthly to ensure that we comply with those requirements. Sure.
Hi, my name is Alex Nelson. I'm the attorney. I work for Carnage Point, doing some of the environmental work. So as I understand it, the only foods rack AOC was AOC 6 that was in or within Carnage Point. And are you saying that with the most recent remediation work done this past year, that AOC 6 is remediated?
So AOC 6 is remediated. I don't know if that's technically in Carney's Point. 4 is in Carney's Point. Okay, Dan is saying that AOC 4 is in Carney's Point, so that's the work that we're doing now.
Okay. So force,
Ongoing. Yes, yes,
thank you.
sure.
You gotta step up.
Excuse me, one second. Can you state your name and that location again?
So the Army Corps does not have any offsite wells. Comores may, and I would need Brian to comment on any offsite wells that Comores owns or samples.
We're following the contamination. And because the radio is so picky about its environment, it just drops out a solution. It's what it does. So we follow it from our source areas out hundreds of feet, and then it stops. It's kind of, I could explain why. It's just a little change in the environment. It no longer wants to stay a solution. So it's not something that's going to make it, it never made it off the site. It never made it, hundreds of feet from where they buried it. It's just not that kind of metal that doesn't like to move. So if we follow our uranium, sure. I don't know what I said, it popped up anywhere. It would only be where it was disposed of, and then it goes from there outward, right? Water flows through metal, like iron, right? If you buried a bumper in the ground, water could flow by it, and it could pick up some iron, but it wouldn't go above. Now, other chemicals actually do that. They're very mobile, we call it, and they just get in water and they stay in water, and they'll just move with that groundwater for long distance. Uranium doesn't do that. It's just too thin. Yeah, so certainly there's bedrock under DuPont, about 100 feet or more beneath the DuPont Chambers works. Our stuff, the deepest that we found it is, well, I'll tell you the elevation, because about, let's just say, 15 to 18 feet below ground surface. That's as far down as it's ever gone. And we've tested deeper wells. It's just not, it doesn't do that. It won't go down through. The way chemicals go down is they move along until there's a break in like a clay, a confinement, as we call it, and then they go down into the next unit and then into the next and so on, unless they're a chemical that's much heavier than water that would just drop right down. Uranium, it's not doing that. It won't do that. Nope, nope. And we're technically our cleanup is to clean up the source material, not the water. But in a sense, we do them both. And we have a groundwater treatment plant that collects water, but it isn't our charge to clean up water. But once we get rid of the source, the uranium will be gone.
So you test basically where you're providing certification or the uranium.
Ed tacked it on. At the last minute, he's like, I put the slide.
So this is just the area where products out there for cleanup. The problem is this product, so it's So we talked about the water. Is there a way that this can get into the air and then contaminate the air and so?
Thank you for your question. We monitor the air daily, 24 hours a day. So there is a possibility that as we do intrusive work like excavation and manage materials on site, that especially volatiles, chemicals could be released into the air. But we monitor for chemicals as well as radiological constituents to ensure that anything that does get in the air is not migrating off site. So we have two separate areas that we monitor air, one for our workers and then one for the public, right? And that's called perimeter air monitoring. And we have not seen any chemicals or radiological constituents in our perimeter air monitoring locations. Is that correct?
Yeah, and policy that
reading paper on it and just throw it away. It can only be mobile and moving air in particular. So it does. Right. So we can dust monitoring, not only the levels of dust, and also dust control, but we also analyze the dust that we find. And we make sure that we're not sending great dust particles anywhere along the line. That is not been a problem for us. We look at it as a this is what other folks that are managing construction, losing out on landlord and stuff. This is one of the things that people are looking at. The protocols include small personnel. So we're very mission from the site and we have huge amounts of data and we have knowledge of this because of things like that. And making sure that we're not putting out those.
So, I just started thinking something you want to be protected. To the bottom, or that is the bottom. Like how, if that's too long.
I'll start by saying that it's not like this part of the remains that we're pulling out of the ground. You can say the whole remains. You touch it, it's not possible in that way. In fact, the marine that was brought to us was fine. So they intentionally removed the bark from our dead animals. So we were worried. The reason we're cleaning up on site is mostly because uranium will eventually break down and those are the ones that upon the food for uranium and it's not a that way. So the three rumors on that is those are the you don't want to be exposed to that's where it is that's not the reason that that's first talking. So that's the thing that's more likely to be a problem than it's going to be a problem. We worry about that every day. We take monitoring perimeters. We have monitors that are only out of the gate, and monitors that are the information, and it's clear that people's job is just monitor. We don't have an alarm system. We have
I would add too that we would also notify our public affairs office, right? So that's what they do. They would find a way to get that information to the world if that was something that would happen.
we have four on board. A government contractor run lab, Pacific Northwest National Lab, with our rural is the same thing for systems. All of the activation phase with this use phones, words. Either a phone company has created a job that says US Army programs here on the back of the word. We spray on pilots with these phones, some of them spray several times a day on our phones, other phones we spray, and those phones will keep the paper back. So we're using everything as technology to both communicate and also to detect and communicate with our technology.
I'm kind of gone, but I live in Carnes Point. We actually own a house in 540 right on the canal. We have been dealing with DuPont and now Moore's for 45 years. And I'm going to be blunt here. I have always felt that DuPont was hiding things. So why should I trust you guys? And what took you so long?
Well, a couple of things. I'd like to earn your trust. That's why we're here. That's why we're here sharing this information. We don't have anything to hide. Our records are public. We have our administrative record at the library. We do routine reporting so that we can keep the public aware. All of our data that we collected in those reports. And there's a summary of information. I know that not everybody wants to go read reports to find, become an expert, right, in environmental remediation so that you can understand it. But that's also why we're here today. And we want those questions. I appreciate that concern. I think we are different than DuPont in that way. The Foods Wrap program, like I said, what took us so long, right? So that was initiated, I believe, in '74. DuPont became as part of that program in 1977. So that is a pretty big duration of time. But we did some things in 1998 that was primarily removing the building and removing those materials. And then we had to do a full remedial investigation, which took some time. And we're still here looking for material, and we're still here remediating. So what I mentioned earlier about the total cubic yards, right? We went from 25,000 to we cleared almost to 150,000 cubic yards is our estimate. We're here to get the contamination out of your community. That is the goal of the Foods Wrap program. We do not intend to leave anything behind. We intend to be fully transparent with our goals.
But we were
you very much, and thank you for the presentation. Sure.
Should I ask before, is there any plan to go to Carnes Point to make a presentation? You did one a year ago, similar to this, at hours where the working people could make meetings.
Yes, so we are doing routine public meetings with Pennsville, Salem County, and Carnes Point. So right now, those are each on a 2-year duration, right? So we were here in 2023, that's why we're here now. We did Carnes Point last year, so we'll do that next year. But I do want to say if there is interest in additional meetings for both of your questions or additional information, please reach out to our public affairs office. When we started this project, we did community meetings more routinely than this. We find that this is usually sufficient, but we're more than happy to engage further with the public.
Once again, thank you. Go ahead. You guys could come up front. Please state your name and your location.
Wayne, I live in Abington, I grew up in Carnes Point. I think it's great what you're doing, your professionalism. I hope you succeed and I'm seeing one well there. But I have a comment, and that is yesterday I walked the property. These are, and mind you, in 77, when the plant blew up the final time, I think it was 77, they said it would be returned to nature. There's the electrical boxes. Here is large pieces of welded stuff that's pushed into the river. Grates. Here's rods and rebar. Here's more grates. Electrical wires. Here's giant pipes, pipe clamps, boxes, boulders, and then all size boulders. They're not even up against the what they're trying to protect the soil. They're laying out in the park. So they look at this. This is all from 121 and they just pushed it out there. And it was supposed to be returned to nature. And in fact, there's a tree drop. And it was, well, here are 2 culverts. All they did was they filled the giant culverts. They must be 6 foot. They filled them in and left them there. And then this is the train tracks. Along the edge of House Cove, you can see the train tracks still sitting there, supposed to be removed. It's just sitting there. And this is why they don't trust you on any part of our boards. This actually has never been dealt with. There's still electrical boxes here. And nobody will put any pressure, nobody gets anything done. And I'm glad for their professionalism, but I can, even on my property, I can't put some of this up out. I'll get in trouble if I put concrete or block. That's like, I'm not even allowed this. How are they allowed to push this stuff in the river? And from 77 till now, it's still sitting there. And I didn't answer the question, but that's my comment.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention, for sure. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for the audience for being here. You certainly, we're going to go into the business portion of our meeting. You're welcome to stay, welcome to go. And many times I've told you before that we're coming up to the riveting portion of our meeting where we go over business. So you can stay and watch, or you're welcome to leave. So thank you very much for attending. Do we have a waiver of the rules?
Yes, we have one, AA, resolution authorizing a letter of agreement between the County of Salem and the Communication Workers of America Local 1085.
We motion to waive the rules for A8.
So move, Mr. Director. Second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous for waiving the rules on A8. No public hearing and adoptions.
Yeah. Introduction of ordinance 2025-004, bond ordinance authorizing supplemental funding for the construction of improvements to the Camp Kearney Dam structure and spillway and by in the County of Salem, State of New Jersey.
If there's some discussion, can you please take it outside or to another room? Okay.
appropriating $3,400,000 therefore, and authorizing $3,400,000 bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof.
Get a motion and a second for introduction of ordinance 2025-004.
Mr. Director, I'd like to make a motion to introduce ordinance 2025-004.
Roll call, please.
I need a second.
I second the motion.
That'd be
Second, okay.
Deputy Director Oster,
Yes.
Commissioner Timmerman,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramsey,
Yes.
Director Laurie.
Yes. We have a public hearing and adoption scheduled for August 6th, 2025, right here at 4 p.m. Introduction of ordinance 2025-005.
Bond ordinance providing for the acquisition of certain real property improvements thereto and equipment therefore for use as animal shelter by and in the county of Salem, state of New Jersey, appropriating $2 million therefore and authorizing $1,900,000 in bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof.
I have a motion and a second for introduction of ordinance 2025-005. Can I get a motion and a second?
Mr. Director, I'd like to move to introduce ordinance 2025-005.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Director.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Deputy Director Oster,
Yes.
Commissioner Timmerman,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramsey,
Yes.
Director Laurie.
Yes. Public hearing and adoption, once again, is scheduled for August 6th, 2025, right here at 4 p.m. Correspondence and general committee and commission minutes. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Director, I'd like to make a motion that the correspondence, department reports, committee and commission minutes be accepted, filed, and made a part of the minutes.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Director.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Getting a motion to pay the bills and claims. We're paying this.
Mr. Director, I'd like to make a motion that all bills and claims, when properly signed and audited, be paid and charged to their respective accounts.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Director.
Thank you. I have a motion to pay bills and claims. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. That's unanimous. What's your pleasure on the treasurer's report?
Similarly, sir, I'd like to make a motion that the treasurer's report be received and filed, subject to audit, and that it be spread full and complete upon the minutes.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the treasurer's report? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. That's unanimous. Resolutions, administrator.
A1, resolution amending Salem County Policy and Procedure Manual. A2, resolution awarding a contract for providing county re-entry coordinators to the Salem County Correctional Facility, RFP 25-11. A3, resolution authorizing the execution of the New Jersey Dam Restoration Project Loan Agreement. A4, resolution amending Resolution 2025-003, setting job classification titles and salary ranges. A5, resolution authorizing the acceptance and execution of a transfer agreement for the Middle Mile Broadband Grant Program from Cumberland County, Federal Award ID number 34-40-MM414. A6, resolution amending Resolution 2025-212 due to changes in contractual responsibilities between Cumberland and Salem counties in effectuating the Middle Mile project. A7, resolution authorizing grant application for the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. A8, resolution authorizing a letter of agreement between the County of Salem and the Communication Workers of America, Local 1085.
Commissioners, you heard the reading of these 8 resolutions. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Director, I'd like to make the motion that we adopt these 8 resolutions.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Director.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Director, I want to emphasize the importance of resolutions A5 through A5, A6, and A7, and thank our administrator, Mr. Ridgway, for very diligent work in helping us bring this to fruition. The bottom line is that these projects that we're approving today will enable us to go forward with our broadband, middle mile, and last mile projects. We've had some roadblocks, as everyone may know. We've been able to overcome these by working with Cumberland to transfer the grant to us, and it looks like we're going to be able to remain on schedule, possibly even under budget
to all involved. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. And it's passed unanimous. Agricultural Public Safety.
B1, resolution acknowledging the standard language document from the New Jersey Department of Human Services for the Medication Assisted Treatment MAT grant. B2, resolution acknowledging the business associate agreement from the New Jersey Department of Human Services for the Medication Assisted Treatment MAT grant.
Commissioners, heard the reading of these two resolutions. Your pleasure.
Mr. Director, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt these two resolutions.
I second that motion.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. And it's passed unanimous. Health and Human Services.
E1, resolution accepting and executing the local public health overdose fatality review team's fiscal year 2026 grant. E2, resolution accepting the right to know 2026 grant. E3, resolution applying for the local core capacity of public health emergency preparedness links grant program.
Commissioners, with the reading of these three resolutions, what's your pleasure?
Mr. Director, I'd like to make a motion to pass these two resolutions as read.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Director.
Thank you. Any discussion on these three resolutions? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Public Works.
F1, resolution requesting an additional extension of time for the New Jersey Department of Transportation fiscal year 2021 local bridge fund program. F2, resolution to approve the South Jersey Regional Animal Shelter application for motorist solicitation pursuant to resolution number 98-115. F3, resolution authorizing a professional services contract for final design for Weldonville Road, County Road 540, resurfacing and safety improvements for the County of Salem.
Commissioners, you're reading these three resolutions. Your pleasure.
Mr. Director, a motion to adopt these three resolutions. And I'll second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. That's passed unanimous. Chapter 159, all the insertions of revenue.
H1, resolution providing for the insertion of any special item of revenue in the budget pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-87, Chapter 159, Public Law 1948, fiscal year 26 overdose fatality review teams, and H2, fiscal year 26 right to know.
Thank you. Can I get a motion second for H1 and H2?
Mr. Director, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolutions H1 and H2.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Director.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Yes, unanimous. Commissioners, can we get to any old business? Commissioners, any new business? Hearing none, we'll move on to Commissioners' public announcements.
There's a summer concert series at Malton Park starting July 10th, which is past, through August 14th. It's every Thursday night, and I did stop out. It's a lot of fun. There's lots of food trucks and good bands. Hicks Pit Beef and Barbecue from 11 to 2, Friday, July 21st, will be at 82 Market Street in Salem City. The Habitat for Humanity 5K and 1 mile color runs will be also this Saturday starting at 8:30. And that's starting at Riverview Beach Park, 49 Lakeview Avenue, Pennsville. I wonder if Charlie will be running. Are you running, Cordy? No.
Moving 200 bales.
Okay. There's a breast cancer awareness luncheon also Saturday, July 26th from 10 to 11. This is at the Elmer Grange on Daretown Road. Later that evening, it's recovery night at the rodeo in Woodstown. This is an activity for people who are in recovery, or our peers that are in recovery, in support of them. I think it's a nice event. It's certainly a nice thing to do. The Senior Resource Fair, hosted by the 3rd Legislative District, is going to take place next Thursday, July 31st, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
This is at the Salem Community College Fieldhouse in Carneys Point. They'll talk about property tax relief and filing assistance for those folks. And the FOP is hosting the Salem County Car Show. That's Saturday, August the 2nd at the Old Oak Lodge, South Broadway in Pennsville. And then the last thing I have marked, starting August 4th, is the Salem County Fair. Mr. Director?
Thank you. Any other commissioner have any public announcements? Hearing none, I'd like to open it up to the public, and please step forward, state your name and your location. And I see Pat Bomber from Carneys Point. Patty. What's the T stand for?
Patty, P-A-T-T-Y.
Is that like Pat?
There's already a Pat.
Is that like Pat?
No. Okay, so the coloring was mentioned, I was going to mention that, so I will do a mini habitat report. Construction will start soon on the house in Maddington. We are working with the company Annandale Homes, which is located at Maddington Mills. So this will be the first manufactured home for habitat. And then two in Pennsville are on hold right now to funding issues. But year to date, there have been 160 families served with grants, 31 veterans, seniors and disabled 18, and homeless 51.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you finding Annandale to work with? They seem very.
This will be the first one. Charlie Hassler has been on their doorstep.
They seem very welcoming.
Reporting at the trial.
Now, they construct it at site, or they come to
I'm
construct
not
it?
sure about that, you know, but they were.
Build the entire building in the warehouse, or I saw them building sections, but I don't know if they assembled them there or done them at the site.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work, but Charlie is very impressed with that. He went to Virginia to tour their main plant, and he's very impressed. He seemed like they're going to be easy to work with.
Good.
So go out and make some comments for him.
Anyone else from the public? Anyone else online? Go ahead.
Township Committee. I have a quick question. South 12th Road from the approximately intersection of Georgetown Road out to 48. You paying for repaving that road as part of the county work. You went through the intersection 48, but then you stopped. Now, it might have been because of the work going on with the warehouse or the intersection at 48 because the state has a new red light that's going in there and a widening. Is there a schedule for the completion of that work on?
I'll defer to Ed. I would have to check with John Seaver and get back to you.
Okay, did you do that?
Yeah.
It's,
Because I want to say Coffee Road, I'm not sure that it's a project, but more so a warehouse development.
no, from, all the way back at the start of all the way up, the county repaved that road. And they went through at that time it was a blinker. It's now a blinking red light, Georgetown Road and South Broadway. You went about, we'll call it 100 feet, 150 feet, and then stop. And I just figured, okay, they're probably going to come back after the building is complete. But now I'm thinking the state's reworking the intersection, and they've got a widening up there, and they've got some additional red lights that are going in. So maybe you're holding off that repayment of that piece until then. I just,
Let me check with John. I'll give you that.
okay.
I can tell you, Pat, that the state isn't always great at communicating what they're doing. Because, boy, the way I don't know if you've been by Richmond lately, they're doing curb work, and I'm like, I called John, and he said, what are you talking about? I have no clue. And he called, oh yeah, they're doing that. They so started doing it.
It's ironic how they pick the pieces they're doing now. To the northeast, and where the exit for Ford comes out onto 48, they're putting up the lights there right now. Now, I know that's part of the Route 48, 40 rework and the opposite end of the road. So I'm thinking, okay, they are working on it, but who knows what their schedule is or how their schedule is.
Well, I can share with you that they have big plans for lane changes and traffic lights opening on 40 during fair.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat. Anyone else, anybody online? Okay, I'll close the public comment portion. Our next meeting is August 6th at 4 p.m. here. Currently, we do not have an executive closed session, so we're moving on to getting a motion for adjournment. So moved. Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it's unanimous. We are adjourned.
Pretty fast.